Welcome to another episode of Getting Naked with Nasty. Uncovering the beats with Nasty on the Beats. I am Nasty on the Beats. www.nastyonthebeats.com. Excited about this episode, as I am with all of them, because this particular beat comes off of my David album. The Son of Solomon Sung as a Different Kind of David is the name of the album. It's my first full-length project since my return, and I would venture to say ever. I put an album out back in like '09, which was kind of like a little teaser album that had different things on it, but that was years ago, obviously. And so when I came back from Colorado Springs, y'all know I talk about my nomad experience. When I came back from Colorado Springs, my trip being cut in half, came back, tried to start working on the David album again. That turned into me actually doing the feverish analysis of the lascivious pursuit of Cash Lee and dropping The Prophet and the Prophecy at the same time. Those two albums came out. And then literally, this is facts, literally coming off the release of those projects, which was October 5th, I started house sitting for my sister in Bossier City, Louisiana. And while I was there, just working on some different things, and all of a sudden, the inspiration for the David album started to gelling. You know what I mean? You like how I do my fingers? Started coming together. I already had at least half of the beats were made already, and this was one of them that I already knew I wanted on that project. This is where the international sampling really started to come to the forefront. I did some of it on the Feverish and some of it on the Prophet and the Prophecy, but this is where I was fully in with using international samples and what I was developing and putting together. The David album, which is my shortened title for it, the David album is awesome. Very poetic, very deep in discussing my own royal posture with God, how I view women, the transition from going from a monogamous mindset to a more poly mindset, how I only justify that for myself in the kingdom context of letting the Spirit of God direct everything, not necessarily just off personal desires and so forth. There's a lot of judgment involved, and so it's really, really heavy in there. A lot of straight lyricism and playing around with some things and so forth, but you can hear that royal, the attention to royalty. You know what I mean? So this is one of those songs. On the album, this song is entitled A Land Reign In Alkebulan, and it's based off somebody's name who, in a very indirect sense, I would say direct and indirect sense, inspired not only the song, but also inspired the posture, inspired a large part of the album in a very indirect way. Much of the content was based off interactions and lack thereof with this particular person. So I named the song A Land Reign In Alkebulan. The name of the beat, however, is from my DKOD, D-K-O-D, obviously different kind of David series. So you can tell where my mind was at already. And it's called Yeltser Job. Yeltser Job. So, and we're gonna get into the international. You're gonna hear that in there. This also is featured on. I just put out an album right when I left Albuquerque called Prophecy God Filled, and the a cappella version of this song is on that album. I thought it was so poetic. I was like, man, let me release it as an a cappella. And that was like a little short EP teaser album I put out. So, all right, let's get into it. Alrighty, let's go to the samplers. That's on 14. All right, I'm gonna play you the sample first. Okay, here we go. Again, I'm hearing what I chopped. You know what I mean? I'm gonna play it one more time. Man, that's interesting. Like I said, I love going back and hearing. I know what the beat is. Go back like, man, I picked that out of there. Beauty of sampling. For anybody who samples, by the way, you know the beauty of that. There's so many producers I can name whose sample game is off the chain. Pete Rock, DJ Premier are my top two. You know what I mean? You can move over to Ninth Wonder. Come on. You know him, Dilla. What is his protege's name? Black Milk. I call him his protege, obviously. Black Milk. You know when you're sampling, what you made. It's a beauty to go back and hear the actual song or part of the sample you used and go, man, I really did that shit. You know what went where. Okay, so let's you know how we do it. We start off by going through each of the samples. Let's start with the kick. All right. That's the snare. All right, let's see what we got on the 3. Just a little shake. All right. The 5, my bass line. Okay. Put that shit on 6. Main sample. Okay. 7. You see, I pulled that out of that kind of drum sound came out of the sample. I'm gonna add in the snare so you can hear them together. A little bit more knock to it. Okay, 8. Yeah. Okay. All right, 9. Yes, she is. Okay. Alright. Man, I have so much fun making beats. 11. Must not be nothing on 11, okay. And then 16, probably percussion. Yep. Just a little tambourine. Okay, let's turn these back on. I think we said 10 and 11 were on. I think that's right. Okay. Now let me see what's on. I've got several sequences. Let me see what's on. Oh, that's my opener. Okay. So that's pretty much the gist of it. I think we're gonna go ahead. I think we're at a good place. There's one other thing I want to play for you though. I did a groove at the end. Here it is. I'm gonna play the groove first, and then we're gonna play the whole groove first. When I was recording this, boy, y'all gotta get stories. I hope y'all like my stories. Obviously, I was recording it here at Killer's crib. It was recorded back in November. What was the release? Oh, the release date was December 24th. Okay, so it was like November, December when I was recording it. I know for a fact, by the way, because I spent Thanksgiving out in Atlanta and was finishing writing the album. I got here, I had most of the album written, but this song gave me the blues, man. Trying to figure out where I was, how I wanted to put it together, and trying to get over that hump and get into the flow. So what I did was, I went to sleep. I turned the instrumental on my phone, sat it next to my pillow, and played it throughout the night. And in and out of sleep, you just let it resonate with your soul. When you get up, 4 bars, 8 bars. Got to go to the bathroom, 4 bars. And I think I had like the first verse already done. So it was like the second verse or half of the second verse and the third verse. I was trying to get back in, get the rest of the posture, the rest of the beat, the rest of the lyrics together. You know what I mean? Organize that, put it together. And it came out dope. It came out so dope when I went to record it. I was like, man, I got to do something at the end that shakes it up. So what I did was I added a groove. It, breaks almost a bridge, if you will. A new meaning to brown liquor and Crown Royal. Hence the shirt I had on. You see it's turned inside out now. They ain't paying me for the endorsement. So I gave them 2 episodes up front just because that's the shirt I had on. They got to pay for the rest. But I love Crown Royal. I actually sip a little bit when I'm recording. A new meaning to brown liquor and Crown Royal. I know I go by the Royal Priest. The Royal Priest called to be nasty. A new meaning to brown liquor and Crown Royal. Anyway. And this is the groove. Let's go ahead and put, woo! Go listen to the song. Again, it's on the David album. The Son of Solomon song is a different kind of David. It's on my Bandcamp. You can get to it through my website. All right, let's go ahead and we're going to go to song mode. Hey, you played the groove first? Yeah. Okay, here we go. song is a special song because I know what the gist of it was, and the poeticism to me. I didn't know it was gonna do what it did to me. You know what I mean? Like artistically, musically, poetically, I write, and I'm very into what I'm writing and so forth. But I don't think this song had the amount of impact on me until, you know, it was actually fully recorded and I heard it a bunch of times. Because like I said, it gave me the blues to write. You know what I mean? The theme is really Yeshua's relationship with the African people, with the motherland. You see, that's why I say it, you know, at the end of the first verse, I say that's how a brother with the hand of the motherland can turn a penny to a grand. Watch the show. And so it's my, if you will, if you want to call it a relationship, but it's my interactions with this particular woman and my thoughts towards her as a juxtaposition, comparison, parallel to Yeshua's relationship to the original people. You know what I mean? Africa as a land, a people, a culture, etc. You know what I mean? And so that's how I projected it. And I was writing it, but as I listened to it over and over again, shoot, some of the punchlines, entendres, poeticism, I don't think it resonated as much when I was writing it. You know what I mean? So now when I hear it, it's deep. You know what I mean? And it brings in a bunch of the different African countries, and you know, at the end, it's dope. So very, very proud of the song itself. And obviously you hear the beat. It's got a nice little groove to it. I knew when I made this beat, I knew the beat was going on the album. Like I refused to put the album out without this beat on it. And there are a couple of them that were also in that bunch that, you know, I said I'm gonna do for a second half to this project or whatever, like another a follow-up or whatever, and that, you know, when it comes, it comes. But I knew this beat had to go on there. You know what I mean? And so that's why I was adamant about whatever it took to get it written and so forth, concept-wise. I'm a producer MC who oftentimes hears a beat and goes, I'm finna do something with that. As opposed to writing rhymes, like, you know, my buddy Killer. He writes rhymes to, sometimes he just writes rhymes to write rhymes and then finds a beat to match it. You know, somebody sends him beats or whatever. Sometimes he'll hear beats and then write to it. But as a producer, I go, man, you know, even sitting there doing it, I go, man, this is a bar right here. And if I can get 1632, a song out of it, boom, that's what it is. And this was one of them. I knew from the beat, it's got to go on the album. It fit, you know, what I was trying to convey. So that's what it is. Another episode of Getting Naked with Nasty, uncovering the beats with Nasty on the Beats. I am Nasty on the Beats. www.nastyonthebeats.com. Holla!